Hello everyone, how are you? Today we will be discussing a different provision, and if you have observed, I have been jumping from one provision to another. Note that I will leave all the provisions that I have not discussed to you. Please read on your own. While the provisions that I have discussed through series of videos will be the provisions that will be included in your exam. Those provisions which I have not discussed through a video recording will be included only in your quizzes. Now, before I proceed to the next provision that I'm going to discuss, I will first give you an example. So, dapat kabalo mo anino, a contract of sale means paliton nako imong sakyanan. The moment nga mobayad nako, automatic ihatag nimo dayon ang imong sakyanan, pati ang rehistro ani. What is contract to sell? This means nga kung imong sakyanan gibaligya nimo 200,000, unya mo ingon ko nga sige, paliton nako na kanang 200,000, impason nako in 4 months ug kada bulan mohatag ko sa imong 50,000. Meaning, I will pay it in installment basis. That is what we call contract to sell. Kano sa nimo ihatag ang imong sakyanan sa akoa, ay na, inig na, impas na. Pwede pod nga ihatag nimo dayon ang imong sakyanan sa akoa pag sugod na kog bayad sa 50,000, pero ang rehistro niini ihatag pa nimo sa akoa pagkahuman sa 4 ka bulan kung fully paid nako sa akong obligasyon. That is contract to sell. But this time we will be discussing contract of sale. This is an example. We have here A and B. A has a land with title. Si A gusto niya baligya iyang land with title dito kang B. Since si B na ikwarta, iyahan nang gibayad kang A. What is the obligation of A? The obligation of A is to give the land now and the title to B. That is what we call contract of sale. This kind of obligation is called reciprocal obligation. Diba kung nakay-uyab, nahigugma ka sa imong uyab, gihigugma pud kaniya. That is what we call reciprocated love. Meaning, ikambyo nimo diretsyo. Say for example, si A na ayuta, si B na ikwarta, inigbayad ni B dito kang A, dapat automatic ihatag dayon ni A ngadto kang B ang iyahang yuta nga adunay titulo. Again, that is what we call reciprocal obligation. This one is discussed in Article 1191. Kining article iyang gidiscuss unsay reciprocal obligation ug unsa may mahimo kung naamoy reciprocal obligation pero wala niya gihatag ang dapat niya ihatag sa imuha. So for example, nakay uyab, gihigugma nimo siya, pero wa kaniya gihigugma, dili na siya reciprocal obligation. So kung ingon ang panghitabo unsa man imong buhaton, you refer to Article 1191. What does Article 1191 say? Article 1191 states that the power to rescind obligations is implied in reciprocal ones, in case one of the obligors should not comply with what is incumbent upon him. The injured party may choose between the fulfillment and the rescission of the obligation, with the payment of damages in either case. He may also seek rescission even after he has chosen fulfillment if the latter should become impossible. The court shall decree the rescission claimed unless there be just cause authorizing the fixing of a period. This is understood to be without prejudice to the rights of third persons who have acquired the thing in accordance with Article 1385 and 1388 and the mortgage law. So ang atong i-discuss karon is kinilang first, second, and third paragraph. Unsay ginaingon niya? The power to rescind obligations. Unsay rescind ato nang mahibaw-an later is implied in reciprocal ones. Meaning, if you have reciprocal obligations, nado kay power to rescind. The injured party, kadtong party nga wa nakadawat sa gugma, may choose between fulfillment, higugma ako, and rescission or undangon na nato ni of the obligation. Plus, mobayad pud ka og damages. Article 1191 governs only when there is non-compliance by one of the contracting parties in case of reciprocal obligations. Meaning, si Article 119 pwede rin mo ni-enforce in reciprocal obligations. Let us take a look at this example. Ganiha atong example, di ba? Si A and B, si A na ayuta, gusto pa nito ni B. Therefore, atong seller si A, atong buyer si B. Now, what happens kung si B ning bayad, pero si A instead nga ihatag niya nga to kang B ang yuta, wala niya gihatag. So unsay pwede buhaton ni B? What are the remedies of B? Since wala man gihatag ni A ang yuta nga tukang B, unsay pwedeng buhaton ni B? First, B may demand the action for specific performance plus damages. Unsa man na, moingon si B nga tukang A, palihog hatag anang yuta og titulo diri sa balay plus damages. Since wa ko katulog, nilabad ako ulo tungod nimo, nag-hire kog abogado, nag-file kog kaso sa korte, bayari kog damages. Another remedy of B is the action for rescission plus damages. Remember, kabalo na mo dapat karon unsa ang damages. But what is rescission? Rescission is the cancellation of contract in case of breach on the part of one which is violative of the reciprocity between parties. Meaning, kung si A wala niya gihatag nga tukang B ang yuta o ang titulo nga gibayran naman unta ni B, unsay remedy ni B, pwede niya i-cancela ang contract. Pero first, unsay una buhaton ni B, pwede siya mopili og action for specific performance plus damages. Pwede po siya mopili og action for rescission. Again, let us review Article 1191. The power to rescind obligations is implied in reciprocal ones, in case one of the obligors should not comply with what is incumbent upon him. The injured party may choose between the fulfillment and the rescission of the obligation, with the payment of damages in either case. He may also seek rescission even after he has chosen fulfillment if the latter should become impossible. Now let us take a look at this one. Si B naa siya'y sakyanan. Gusto ibaligyan ni B ang sakyanan nga tukang A. Again, ang atong seller si B, ang atong buyer si A. Nag-promise si B nga i-deliver niya ang sakyanan nga tukang A on May 1, 2023. Samtang si A ningon pod nga mobayad sab ko anang adlaw. If B does not comply with his obligation, so for example, ni bayad na si A anang May 1 pero wala gi-deliver ni B ang iyang sakyanan nga tukang A. If B does not comply with his obligation, unsay pwede buhaton ni A? A may, in an action for specific performance, demand the delivery of the car with damages. So pwede siya moingon nga tukang B, B, ambi na akong sakyanan, bayari pod ko og damages. Or A may demand from the court the rescission of the contract also with damages. Unsay pasabot anang or, isa lang ang pwedeng pilion ni A. Either, mo demand siya nga tukang B nga i-deliver ang sakyanan o bayaran siya damages, or magpa-declare siya og rescission, i-cancel na lang ang contract. Ambi na kong kwarta, ayaw nag-deliver sa ako anang sakyanan pero pabayron ti ka og damages. Now, what if ang gipili ni A is number 1? Ang gipili niya is an action for specific performance which is the demand of the delivery of the car with damages. What if kana na ang gipili ni A? Meaning, final na. Kung ang gipili ni A, number 2, A may demand from the court the rescission of the contract also with damages, si A dili na pwede mo pili og balik sa number 1. Pero na instances class nga gipili na ni A ang number 1, pero nipili na po siya sa number 2 later on. Here's what happens. Niingon si A nga, B, ambi ng kotse kay gibayra naman tika og bayari pud kog damages. Now, niabot ang tornado. Nawala ang sakyanan. Pwede pa ba maingon si A nga, ay, di na lang ko ana, kay ako na lang ipakancel ang contract? The answer is yes. Maura na siya ang panahon nga kung nakapili na ka sa 1, pwede pa ka mo pili na po ng number 2 kung ang sakyanan na guba. If the fulfillment becomes impossible because the car was destroyed, A is allowed to convert his action into rescission. Now, automatic ba ang rescission? The answer is, it depends. Depende po. For example, if rescission is expressly stipulated in the contract, of course, pwede automatic ang rescission. Pero kailangan nimo maghatag og notice. Notice must be given to the other party. Now, what if ang rescission dili siya expressly stipulated? Of course, kinahanglan ka mo file og judicial rescission. Now, if one party is able and willing to perform and the other is not, kung si A willing mo perform, si B dili willing, unsay solusyon? Automatic ba ang rescission? Yes. The party willing to perform may declare rescission even if automatic rescission is not stipulated. Now, unsa man ang solusyon sa other party? Nagdemand si A kang B, huy, ambi na ng kotse, pero si B dili man makahatag unsa may solusyon ni B anang butanga. He may resort to judicial rescission, meaning mag-file ka sa court for rescission. Article 1192 states that in case both parties have committed a breach of the obligation, the liability of the first infractor shall be equally tempered by the courts. If it cannot be determined which of the parties first violated a contract, the same shall be deemed extinguished and each shall bear his own damages. So for example, si B ang unang nakasala kay ang sakyanan naguba. Unsa man ang imong buhaton? What does Article 1192 say? In case both parties have committed a breach, kung kamong duha nagkamali, di ma-deliver ni B ang sakyanan, ikaw nakuwangan imong kwarta kay nagpalit kag cellphone, unsay buhaton, unsay giingon sa law, the liability of the first infractor shall be equally tempered by the courts. Ang inyong buhaton ani i-determine ninyo kinsa ang unang nakasala kay didto ka mag-minus sa damages nga iyang na incur. What if dili ma-determine kung kinsa ang unang nakasala? The same shall be deemed extinguished and each shall bear his own damages. Kung kamong duha nakasala ug ma-identify ninyo kinsa ang unang nakasala, his liability should be equitably reduced. Now, kung wala mo kabalo kinsa sa inyo ang unang nakasala, the contract shall be deemed extinguished, wala na'y kontrata, o gamoy mo bear sa inyong sariling damages.